Men and women all over the globe are joining now for the best videos on the internet.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
And I'm doing my part too.
They're doing their part. Are you? Click the subscribe button now to become a member of the Action Pack. Would you like to know more?
Ahoy, mateys! I be Mike, and with me today is...
Tommy boy!
Are you a landlubber, or do you like your booty? I must caution you, though, for dead men tell no tales. But if you must sail the seven seas, we might have found a game just for you. This is Mike's After Action Reviews, and this is the rapid action interview for Skull and Bones. The Action Pack needs you. You can support Mike's After Action Reviews on our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Every quarter, once we've made at least $200, we're going to be giving away 10% of our earnings from Patreon in a giveaway over on our Twitch, so go check that out as well. You can find all of the links for everything in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Do your part. Support the pack. The Action Pack. All right, everybody. So we are going to start with the production, and I'm going to get into some things. I do just want to let you guys know exactly why this video is being made the way that it is. Basically, since the game came out and we've played it, and then, now, when the review, even though the review should have been coming out way long time ago, we're really far behind. It's actually my fault. I've had some sickness and so, some illness with my family and myself as well, and some things going on that have delayed this coming out. So that's why it is a rapid action interview, because basically I'm interviewing Tommy about it. Now we've played together, so we've played through the whole thing, but it's not exactly a rapid action review because there's another person here, so it's a rapid action interview. So we're going to go through this pretty quickly, so that way we can get this out to you guys. I know that it's late, but we went through the effort of playing the game and collecting our thoughts. We got to get this thing out. So, Skull and Bones was released on February 16th, 2024 to the PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. The game was developed and published by Ubisoft. So it was published by Ubisoft and then developed by Ubisoft Singapore. And then the music was by Tom Holkenborg and Stephen Lukacs. I'm not naming anything that they're famous for or what they've most recently done, but I will say I do know Tom Holkenborg, and he's pretty famous as far as the movies that he's done and the video games that he's done, so that's pretty cool. I have not heard of Stephen Lukacs, but, Tom Holkenborg was first listed, so he can get there. Music wasn't anything super amazing here. Ubisoft has a certain reputation for making a certain type of game, and it's kind of the open world games that are, Assassin's Creed has kind of devolved into these open world games that are just grind fests. And basically what this game is, this kind of moves us into what this game is, which is Assassin's Creed, Black Flag. For years and years and years, people wanted it to, they just said, can you just make a game where it's just Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but it's just the pirate stuff? So this was in production for eight years, and it kind of, basically they stripped away the Assassin's Creed stuff. They have the pirate stuff, and they stripped it down into basically making it into like an MMO, but it's not exactly an MMO. It's just like an online-only type game, and we'll get into how that worked. Kind of just letting you guys know the story here is really light. The game's not really about the story, so be prepared for that. And there are some features that people maybe expected because of, the way that Assassin's Creed was that are not so here, and we'll get into that as we move on. So we're going to go just basically straight into our sustains and improves, and then we're going to give our final statement of review scores, and that will be what it will be. I love my awesome Support the Troops Stormtrooper mug. Do you know where you can get a mug just like this one, but different? Bottega Krua. Bottega Krua is an Italian born and raised artisan trained at the Academy of Fine Arts in Venice, Italy. Since 2010, Bottega Krua has offered unique handmade and hand-painted ceramics, pottery, and other artistic products. You can find these products at her Etsy store by following the link down below. She also takes custom orders, but they may take longer to ship because she has to make them after you order them. So, go check out Bottega Krua to get yourself an awesome mug just like this one, or the ones you've been seeing behind me as this ad has been going on. Remember, guys, supporting our partners is supporting the pack, the Action Pack. So, Tommy Boy, if you want to take it away, give us some sustains and improves, and then you can give us your kind of all-encompassing final statement and review score.
All right, so starting off, some of my sustains, I only got about 2 of them. The customization of ships and character is phenomenal. That is one of the greatest things about it. I do love it. You got how many ships? We got 8 different ships too. Got 8 different ships to choose from, and we can customize them with all the deck weapons, all the color schemes, your emblems. Like, you can really go all out with them. So I really, really enjoyed that part. I was reaching on my second sustain. Just the feel. Like, I do get the feel from it of like being a freaking awesome pirate and listening to my guys sing shanties. I think that's what I ultimately enjoyed the most about the game. I just love that so much. Okay. So my improves, along with the rest of the world, I think, I wish there was more shore interactions. So like when you get to the end game and you gotta get your manufacturers and you gotta upgrade them, all that, get your pieces of 8. I wish there was like a cool way we might be able to go on shore and check out your manufacturers and develop them from that. Like, I don't know. I thought that'd be kind of interesting. Also, one I would absolutely think would be freaking awesome would if we could develop our own base, like pick a island and actually make a base of operations and everything, and maybe that could be a way of consolidating your pieces of 8. Like, there could be an upgrade to your base where you can consolidate the pieces of 8 instead of spending so much freaking time running around picking up all the pieces of 8 from all your manufacturers. Coming back to the manufacturers, the price of the manufacturers, the price to keep them running with silver is just ridiculous. So, like, maybe away from your base, your home base, you could hire a fleet to do trades or something, get like a passive revenue that way. I think that'd be freaking awesome. I want to say, like, with Assassin's Creed, we had the from your cell phone, you could actually play the game and have a passive fleet through that. That was freaking awesome. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Yeah, where you could it wasn't an in-game currency. It was an in-game currency, but like it was a currency separate that just allowed you to upgrade that portion. Like it didn't let you buy stuff with your assassin character, but you could buy new ships and stuff. Yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah, actually. Yeah. And to my final one, which we've talked about it many, many times while we played the game, the Helm Wagers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm not a fan of PvP. I'm not a fan of it. Like I'm a fan of it if we're there to help each other. I'm not a fan of it to like me work my butt off to get something and then you steal it from me. Like, no, that's just trolls. I don't care for them at all.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about it was like if it's gonna be a wager, they need to put forth something too in order to try to take this on. And I might have some buffs with it too.
Right.
So,
Because
like,
it would, yeah.
So yeah, that's but ultimately, yeah, that's all I got for those. But overall, it was a fun and enjoyable game. Had a great time, especially spending it with you. Like we had a good time. And we'd help each other out with a bunch of things, and like it was fun to sail around and listen to my shanties and just kill or destroy the bounties and stuff. It was a very good time. I enjoyed it. I just wish there's a little bit more development with it. It'd be a great game, but since it's not quite a great game, I'd say I'd have to actually give this an average game. I would love to give it above average, but I'm going with at least average.
An average? Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Travis with Oscar Mike Radio. Oscar Mike Radio is a military and veterans podcast and show about those who serve our country and those who have served and are doing amazing things.
You know what? Let's take more. And then they had that fantastic
managing those logistics and getting things where they need to be on time.
I mean, come on.
Want to learn more? Want to follow the show? Go to OscarMikeRadio.com or the link below. We're Oscar Mike, and we're mission in flight. Thank you.
Yeah. So average from Tommy, and then here is my sustains and improves. So I'll say sustains is the customization. 8 different ships. Each ship has like a buff, or it's like a special like type of weapon or something that it. Okay, so that's cool. There's even a healer ship. That's cool. Okay, and then being able to customize is actually what kept me in it. It's something. It's like the hook for me, because I want to be able to build my different builds and use my different builds of ships to be able to do different things and see how it works. And so that's kind of a cool thing. All right. My second sustain is actually the combat. So I actually, as far just from memory, I did not go back and play Assassin's Creed Black Flag because I didn't want that to tarnish my review of this. But from memory, I actually feel that the combat mechanics here are actually ripped right out of Assassin's Creed and put in here for the ship. Okay, when you go up to enemies, you hold down the button almost like in first-person shooters where you would put your gun up to aim down the sights. You aim down the sights, but it's like it shows you the side of your ship that you're going to use, and then you can shoot your attack depending on what weapon you have. There's different mechanics, and there's a bunch of different weapons. What is it like? Like 16 different weapons. Some of them can only be put on the sides, some of them can only be put in the front, and some of them can be put anywhere. And then there's the auxiliary weapon, which is like, it's either a mortar or a rocket, which shoots like the Chinese-style multi-rockets, like you'll see in movies and some like fantasy video games where they have that, I forget what it's called, but just where it shoots all these rockets. So the variety of being able to customize your ship and the combat, I actually did like. Okay, excuse me. And then, another sustain is the fact that it is multiplayer and being able to play with friends. I know any game is better being able to play with friends, but being able to have like an interactability, that's cool. Another sustain that I would also add real quick, just as a fourth sustain, would be I did like. So Tommy's talking about the manufacturers. You can passively manufacture. There's multiple. There's like silver coins, and then there's pieces of 8. You can passively manufacture the pieces of 8. It does cost the silver coins to fund the manufacturing of the pieces of 8. But I liked that. I liked that it had a little bit more than the combat. I would have liked a little bit more than just having the manufacturers, something that Tommy said, like a base or something like that would have been cool. But yeah, being able to have something a little bit more was pretty cool. So I thought I did like that, being able to and then it's something that it's not like a mobile game exactly where you feel cheated because you can still play the game without doing the manufacturing and stuff. But it's just something to like get you to come back. You know, because I want to be able to get those different resources to then be able to customize my character. And it kind of goes into that like looter shooter loop. Almost, where it's like I go and fight, I get silver, I turn it into coin, I turn the coin into different weapons, I turn the weapons into put them on my different ships, and that's a new build. Okay, so then so those are my sustains. Getting into my improves, one thing right off the bat, and it's probably the most prevalent thing that I noticed is the wind. It almost seems like whenever you're going, there's wind, and I don't remember this in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So let me know in the comments if down in the comments if this problem existed. I just don't remember, but I don't remember there being wind. You know, like a tailwind. I don't remember you moving faster. In this game, if you have a tailwind, you don't move faster. If you have a headwind blowing towards you, you move slower. And it almost seems like no matter which direction you're going, so I can be heading north to an objective, and the whole time I've got wind blowing in my face. Then as soon as I turn south to go back, I've got a wind blowing in my face. So I think that they should have just gotten rid of the wind, seriously, or made it a lot less impactful because it's dumb. Yeah, and especially because you don't have the tailwind that increases your speed. Okay, what were you gonna say?
Oh gosh, now I'm forgetting. So yeah, there is the brigantine. It did. I looked up, did some research on it. It did affect the brigantine the most on slowing it down.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that. Okay, so the fastest ship in the game gets slowed down the fastest by the wind, so that's dumb too. The thing is that these are mistakes that they made that are. It's not about how big they made it or how detailed it was or how really it was just like you just made you came to a point where you could have made this decision and that decision and you made the stupid decision. Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing is combat out. So I like the combat mechanics before, but as far as the ship, but I do get where people are saying. So in Assassin's Creed, you could like crawl up the mast, jump over to the other side, slide down the sails, and start sword fighting people because you were an assassin. I don't necessarily need you to be able to board other ships and jump up the mast and crawl around and do all that stuff like you did in Assassin's Creed. But I mean, being able to sword fight and shoot people with your pistol, that would have been nice. And really, that's the only thing. Like, I know that some people maybe complained about, like, that there aren't more to do on the island, but I wasn't so much bothered by that. But I would have liked to have more, basically, ship combat. Yeah. That's it. You know, as far as boarding. So that's another sustain, or another improve. And then the other improve is, the economy, and they just recently changed it, patched it. So the economy started a little bit brutal, but you can make it, well, not I wouldn't even say brutal, but it's like a little bit of a grind, but the game is fun. Like, actually, like I said, combat is fun. Stuff is cool. So you're grinding, and eventually, like, Tommy Boy basically got enough money to get everything even before they made the Switch. Now I'm going to tell you about the Switch. I hadn't quite gotten there yet. Then they made this Switch where they made the manufacturers produce way more resources, but they cost way more silver. So then it just got to the point where it's like, you can't even fund your manufacturers if you own more than a few because of how much money you can get from doing missions and bounties and stuff. Versus how much it costs to fund them. Okay, and now we have a situation, and I would like Tommy Boy to comment on this. We have a situation where Tommy Boy got all the resources he'll ever need ever and can buy everything. And now how does that make you feel?
I haven't been on it all week because, like, there's just no point now.
Yeah, okay, there you go. He funded all of his manufacturers one time, which probably cost hundreds of thousands of silver. Which is like one bounty. You can do 6 bounties a day. You can do 6 bounties. I'm holding up 4 fingers on this hand. You can do 6 bounties a day. 3 of them are lower level and only give you a couple thousand, and then the other 3 will give you 10, 12, and 15,000. Okay, every day. It takes $500,000, $1 million, like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of silver to fund all your manufacturers. So it's ridiculous.
To fund just the Africa and the Red Isles was over 900,000 just to fund those. No.
And that's not all of them either. Okay. So once you got that, and then you harvested them all, you have enough pieces of 8, which is the thing they make. you have enough pieces of 8 that you don't need to buy. You don't need any more, so you'll never need. There's almost no point to play, right? Okay.
Yep.
So the economy got all screwed up. Having said all of that, I mean, yeah, I think that it was I don't think that it was as egregious as people are making it out to be. It's really getting crapped on online. But actually, I think that the combat was fun. They were missing a couple of things. Basically, it's like the combat was fun, and they were missing a couple of things that maybe people would have liked, like the being able to board. Now, board other ships and fight with your sword and pistol. Okay. Now, if it was just those two things, okay. But then once we got into the way that like basically your biggest bonus thing that I really liked was the customization. But then when you got into the way that you earn the resources to do that and to get new stuff, and then you changed it to this weird system of basically if you can get one round of all funded manufacturers, you'll never need to get any more again. You've now deflated and defeated the whole purpose of doing a lot of different things. And so if it was only these two things, I could say above average. But because of the way that certain things have happened now, I've got to give it a rating of average. I don't think it's a bad game. I think that the base core mechanics are solid, but they just made stupid decisions on the kind of the back end.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up the 4A thing.
It's definitely not a quadruple A game, that's for sure. And I will say another thing, just as an added little thing here too, is the Helm Wager system. Yeah, we talked about a way that you can improve it. So if you're doing a Helm Wager and I want to steal your pieces of 8, I should have to put up some money. And then it makes it so that way I don't, because basically what it does is you spend an hour, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, sometimes depending on how many manufacturers you collecting all of these pieces of 8 that you've been waiting, because you fund the manufacturers, it takes 10 hours for them to fill up. Then it takes 3 hours to collect them all, and then you have the opportunity to do a Helm Wager where they double your winnings, okay? Which is fine. What ends up happening, you do the Helm Wager and 5 people all gang up and kill you. Well, if all 5 of those people had to put up a certain amount of money and you won the Helm Wager, now you get your piece of 8 and their money, it'd be less likely for them to gang up and kill you. You see what I'm saying? So there needed to be a better balancing with the way the Helm Wagers worked. I know a lot of people are really upset about that. So look, this is a 20-minute video. It was supposed to be a rapid, and it still is. We're going to edit it down a little bit here, but basically that's what we've got, guys. We had to get this one out. I'm sorry about it being so late. So, yeah. But, Tommy Boy, you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Thanks for having me, everybody.
Yeah. That's all we've got today, guys. We're going to thank you for watching. Make sure to go to check out the $500 cash giveaway. It's April 1st right now. This is not an April Fool's joke. We're doing the drawing on the 15th for $500. Go check out the $500 cash giveaway video. But that's all we've got. We want to thank you all from the bottom of our hearts here at Mike's After Action Reviews. Just say God bless you all, and have a good day. Don't forget to check me out on Twitch and join the Discord where you can voice chat with me while I live stream, and you won't be recorded or anything on YouTube and Twitch, so that's pretty cool. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. If you like to read, you can see my after action reports on my blog. And if you are interested, you can get some merch from my spring store. The links for everything are in the description below.